at the very basis of that is love for yourself, and to understand that you are loved and valued and that you must feel that for yourself. And sometimes we just need a little extra external validation.
Hello, everybody. You're on the Faculty Factory podcast, and I'm Kim Skorupski here at Hopkins, and I'm looking at our beautiful Dr. Priya Umapathi. Priya, good morning.
Good morning, Kim. You are so kind.
Oh,
and you must have very blurry vision over here, but that's a very high compliment.
No. Hey, everybody. Dr. Priya is on our advisory board for junior faculty here at the School of Medicine in Johns Hopkins. And I asked Dr. Umapathi to come on the episode today, the podcast, to share some lessons learned over the past couple of years with this pandemic and her leadership journey. And we've just been kind of talking before I pressed record about all the common themes that we all struggle with. But I think she has a wonderful lesson to share with us, and it has some metaphors around tapestries and cups. And so why don't you just, first of all, Priya, tell everyone your role here in cardiology, what you do here at Hopkins.
Sounds good. Thank you, Kim. Now that the expectation in the bar is set super high, I will try to achieve it. I'm Priya. I'm one of the assistant professors in the Department of Medicine here, and I am also a cardiologist. So I'm sort of the multi-headed tiny hydra in the division. So I wear a couple of hats. I'm one of the advanced heart failure and cardiac transplant faculty. And I take care of patients who are pretty sick, who might need a heart pump or a heart transplant. And I also have the privilege of being a scientist and a basic scientist. So I get to do amazing things with animal models and try to better understand on a basic level how to solve heart failure. And with that lofty goal, one transgenic mouse at a time, I hope to kind of further our knowledge about things. And so the other things that I do is I mentor, or I try my best to mentor peers around me, as well as our students in our lab, as well as our residents and fellows. And I'm part of the JRAC, and I'm hoping here to go ahead and champion the cause of the junior faculty, many and myriad as they may be, to the best of my abilities in a really awesome environment. So that's me.
Wow. So as you can tell, podcast audience, just your usual underperforming, tiny hydra-headed, transgenic mouse, basic scientist, cardiologist, transplant surgeon, just the usual run-of-the-mill, serving on advisory committees. Priya, talk to me about how you experience joy and how do you persevere doing all your hydra hats and wearing all of them and balancing them so nimbly. How are you managing this, and how are you getting your energy? What, as you put so earlier, what brings you joy?
That's a great question. And, I am a big metaphor person, if nobody could figure that out by now. So how does this tiny-headed hydra, multi-headed person do things? So we're going to talk about cups and tapestries, because this was my, shower thought du jour for the pandemic and beyond, is, energy is one of those self-renewal things, right? And the question comes, how do you fill your cup? So when I think about my energy and my joie de vivre and how do I function on a day-to-day basis, I think to myself, I have all of these things that I care about, and it uses so much energy and so much bandwidth. And sometimes at the end of the day or the end of the week, I feel so depleted. And I ask myself, how can I give any more? I always feel like I'm not succeeding and I'm not doing a good job. And then I realized that I end up having to fill my own cup. And where does that energy come from? It really comes from the energies around me. So I am so blessed, and I have been blessed my whole life with amazing people in my life. And those people come in all shapes and forms and names. And they come in the form of family. So I have the great good fortune of being very close to my mother, who's the wisest 75-year-old. And as we all know, mothers are the wisest of the world. So I live with my mom, and She has pretty severe rheumatoid arthritis and is pretty functionally limited, but she is radiant like the sun and tells me every day, how good of a job I'm doing just because I try. And she fills my cup. And then, I walk into work and I have mentorship in every levels from my lab director, who's also been my clinical and my research mentor. I have blasts from the past. That old friend that I've known for 21 years since college, who every now and then with her 3 children will send me a text and she'll be like, "You're doing an amazing job. Thank you so much for serving in the hospital." And I'm just like, "Thank you so much for being alive and thinking of me and sending me this text message out of the blue." Right. So my cup filleth over because of every interaction I have with these people who care for me. And they make it known that they care for me. And that really, I think, is where a lot of my energy is derived from. And then the other part of my energy is, can I get energy from other sources like the sun? So, taking care of yourself, taking some time to go running is one of my favorite passions. One of my previous mentors, my current mentor, Dr. Wittstein, who's one of my faculty mentors here and is one of the advanced heart failure faculty, gave me a cup that said, it's time to go around, but I'd rather go hiking, because I really love the sun and the energy that I get from being outside. And that's a huge amount of my self-renewal. So I really think, these are just some examples of, how to renew energy in my case. And I'm pretty sure, when I share the story, people, if they take a pause or a minute to think about the world around them, even if it is your nursing staff, if it's the graduate student who's working in your lab, your division director, your section chief, your brother, your boyfriend, your dog, and you just take a moment to see how much love there is for you, how valued you are as a person, and then to understand at the very basis of that is love for yourself, to care for yourself, and to understand that you are loved and valued, and that you must feel that for yourself. And sometimes we just need a little extra external validation, everybody needs that. And to be mindful of that sometimes you may need to hear it in a different way. Reach out, because somebody will reach back out and touch you. I promise.
Priya, well, on behalf of the Faculty Factory podcast global audience, I would like you to send a text message to your 75-year-old mother, who is the radiant sun of your in the house, as well as like going outside with the real sun. Send a text message to that beautiful mother on our behalf, thanking her for bringing you into the world.
You're so kind.
Continuing to support you and raising and loving such a wonderful human being who clearly takes that mom's radiant sun outside when you're in the big yellow globe in the sky when you're running, and then you take it into the Hopkins buildings, into the surgery, and the lab. So I love your mom. Good.
Oh, thank you, Kim. And she loves you too. She's got a very big heart for the whole world. So if anybody needs a hug, feel free to drop by my house in social distance.
Oh, I just love this for you. I'm thinking back of all the episodes. Now we're year 4 of the podcast, and nobody has really so directly acknowledged gratitude for mom, just mom. And so I think this is so beautiful.
Oh, you're very
reminded us of just the simple things in life, that we are loved. And when we can pause a moment and remember all the people who love us and who have been with us, who are maybe have gone on,
right,
but they've been a part of our lives, and they're with us in spirit, in reality, in your friend from decades long ago who you pop into their head and you reach out. That is just such a great reminder of why we're here. And I love your gratitude.
Oh, no, I'm so grateful for everything that I have. And I will tell people, especially through this pandemic, I love this thing that my mom says. She says, love yourself, forgive yourself. For whatever you think you didn't do a good enough job, whatever happened, forgive yourself, love yourself, we are the hardest on ourselves. So, and I promise you that everybody's mother who is listening to this podcast would wish the same thing upon them, especially in the times that we live in that are so traumatic and so anxiety provoking. Please keep this in mind. Love yourself, forgive yourself. And, if you need to reach out, because I promise somebody will reach back out and give you a hug.
Oh, what a beautiful, beautiful message from a beautiful woman raised by a beautiful mom. This is such an important message. Dr. Priya Umapathi, you are wonderful. Thank you for this really soulful, heartfelt reminder to us. I love it. And I really, really appreciate you. So I'm grateful for you. Thank you.
You are and I'm grateful for you, Kim, and for all of those out there listening. Keep the faith and be kind to yourselves and to the world around you. It's what the world needs most.
Thank you. Wow. Just what we needed. Till the next time on the Faculty Factory podcast. Come on back next time. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Faculty Factory Podcast. The mission of the Faculty Factory is to build and support a community of leaders in faculty development who share tools, resources, wisdom, and encouragement in service to our faculty members, schools, and institutions. We encourage you to go to facultyfactory.org to find out more. Get in touch with me, ask me any questions. Maybe you want to be interviewed on the podcast. Thanks for tuning in to Faculty Factory Podcast. We'll see you next time. The Faculty Factory podcast and website is sponsored by the Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine Office of Faculty. For more information, visit facultyfactory.org.